Welcome back to the Life of a CEO podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Today we have a fantastic guest. We have Jérôme, who's the president of BREITLING in Japan. Big guest. Yeah, Alex is wearing the product already. He's prepared. So Jérôme, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot for the invitations. It's a pleasure to be here.
We always like to get an overview of kind of your career. So how you started, how you ended up where you are in such a great position, right? So what do you tell us about how it all happened?
It all happened very quickly, to be honest with you. I started in management consulting for a very brief period of time.
Okay.
And then I had a venture myself, which didn't materialize in the end. So, kudos to both of you. I said it before, but it's amazing what you've built. I really appreciate that. And I joined BREITLING 7.5 years ago. And when I joined BREITLING, it felt like a startup. A very unique type of setting. It was, we have a huge history. Obviously, it's a brand founded in 1884.
Right, yeah.
But 7.5, 8 years ago came the period of time where private equity acquired the company.
Yeah.
So it was always in family hands. The BREITLING family, the Schneider family, and then private equity.
That's a big change.
It's a huge change, and I was just fascinated by the potential of the brand, and I wanted to be part of this transformation process. So I had a couple of roles within BREITLING. I started at headquarters. I was in charge of Asia Pacific from a commercial standpoint.
Okay.
I moved to Australia, where I was leading Oceania, so Australia, New Zealand, the smaller islands, and then I transitioned to Japan 3 years ago.
You're actually the first guest that has experience working with private equity, right? Which is a topic I think is always sparks a lot of attention, right? What's the difference, of let's say working from, for a firm, a global firm, and then working for a brand with invested by private equity? What do you think is the main difference?
I love working in private equity. I love it because it's just speed, and there's no politics. We're just doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. We're not part of a group. We don't need to align with a huge amount of brands. We don't play the game of needing to belong in a coherence to something else.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of freedom and flexibility in what we do, and partially this is why also we've been extremely successful in the past.
Very results focused as well.
We were ranked 19th by revenue 7 years ago, and today we're within the top 10.
Yeah, that's
I mean, we doubled our revenue in a short time span, and we're completely on top of what we need to be and beating the competition in some areas. Yeah.
So good.
If you have a customer, right, that wants to buy a premium luxury watch, right, and that customer has to make a decision, right? What do you think influenced that decision making? How important is the boutique and ultimately the individual, the experience,
Matt, you're not into the watches yet.
Not yet.
Maybe by the end of the day.
Typically, a new customer will go through approximately 15 touch points with a brand.
Okay.
So they will see the brand online, they will hear it from a friend, the family will talk about it, they might go into a department store and they see the brand and they try on the watches, etc. So those are each one touch point of the
Building up to.
Building up. So for BREITLING, you might think, okay, well, there's the chronomat, there's Navi Timer, there's Super Ocean Heritage, and then you kind of deep dive into the different aspects of the watches.
Yeah.
So that's a typical journey. And then you come to the store probably. And when you come to a store, you immerse yourself within that universe. You hear the stories that the brand has gone through.
Yeah.
You learn about the DNA of the brand. You learn about how we actually talk with you. Very basic things, how we want to be perceived and what we have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, if I think of myself, when actually, I purchase some of my watches, or if my wife wants to purchase luxury items, you kind of treat that day as an experience, right? You probably go have a nice meal.
They look forward to it as well.
Yeah, right. And I think I personally think that you start from the marketing, but then the experience in the shop is really, really important, because sometimes you might actually, even if you want to buy the product, you go to the boutique and the experience is not right. Yeah. You might not pull the trigger and actually then ultimately maybe deviate to even a different brand or a different product just because the experience didn't feel right.
I think your perspective is influenced by you living in Japan for 13 years.
Yeah.
Because in the West, there is less emphasis on customer service than in Japan. In the West, it's a bit more transactional in many ways, and people pull the trigger much more on instincts sometimes.
Listen, in hiring too, we both worked in London. People hire people based on instinct. In Japan, it's
Consensus.
slower.
It's consensus, exactly. And so in Japan, people will take much more time to reflect on the purchase, and the in-store experience is a major part of the decision process. If you don't have the right in-store experience, the Japanese will say no to buying over.
Yeah, I agree.
So you have 110 people, you say, in Japan. How many are Japanese? How many are non-Japanese? What's the demographic of that?
Majority Japanese. Yeah, we have a couple of international.
Yeah.
I'm the only one, pure outsider in a way. We have a couple of employees that come from China. We have one European, but mainly Japanese driven.
Okay.
Yes.
We've worked in very, heavily Japanese environments before, right? And there are pros and cons in every country, I think, right? Quite simply. What did you find were the challenges initially, managing a team which is, dominated by native Japanese people?
You have to understand how the Japanese mind works, in my opinion. I had one of the first projects I had when I arrived in Japan 3 years ago was the implementation of a system.
Yeah.
And we had rolled it out everywhere in the world, and Japan was one of the last countries to do that. So we did have experience in rolling it out. So we came with the mindset to do the same in Japan, which is basically you roll out the system, there's going to be some bugs, but you fix it along the way. But that was a big issue in Japan.
Yeah.
It's reversed. In Japan, you take much more time to prepare, and you think about every little thing that could possibly be wrong, and you have a manual on how to act on these problems. But then once this is set, it goes really fast. And you also saw that in Japan during COVID, where it took an immense time for the government to come up with a response, but once it was defined, it was just implemented.
Oh, I thought it was one of the best places to live in the world during COVID.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable, yeah.
So, it's like the approach is completely different here, but as soon as you understand that it's much more consensus built, that you need to give them maybe a little bit more time, that you need to take them apart because there's no one speaking up in the meetings, stuff like this, then you start kind of building this a feeling on how to lead the teams.
But like you say, once it's done, it gets executed really well at that point, right? Yeah, agreed. As president, we really like to dig into this. You've got to deal with each different department, right? So you have sales, you have marketing, you have finance, you've got human resources,
logistics,
all this kind of stuff. Is there one area which you naturally gravitate towards? And is there one area which you think, well, I have to learn a lot about that and I'm still learning?
My background is sales.
Yeah.
When I was in charge of Asia Pacific, it was commercial.
Yeah.
And when I started here, definitely I had to learn a lot of things on many different topics. Now I'm forced to prioritize my time.
Yeah.
So I decide what's worth my time and what needs to be, focused on throughout the companies. For me, right now, sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think then? Like sometimes you're always struggling between, delegation, and then sometimes delegation is not, is not always effective and it doesn't get done properly. Maybe you don't have the right person to delegate. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, how it works top down is you have an idea and you think about your team. I usually also tend to look at their capacities, and then I choose someone. Sometimes I choose people just because I want to nurture them and because I want them to learn something new. And then I have a discussion. So I set up a meeting and then we talk about a certain idea, and then I let them do the homework. I say, okay, well, think about it. And then they will come with a plan, and then we have another discussion, and then I steer it.
Yep.
It's not that I need to do the work myself, but I steer it. So they will come back with a plan, and then I will say, okay, we're going in the right direction, or we're not, so I'm kind of correcting the course. That's how I approach it.
We have a reasonable audience that watches this podcast, and one question we always ask everybody is, right, if you're a younger professional right now and you aspire to maybe be a CEO one day, what advice would you give to somebody? Because it happened pretty quick for you, right?
Yeah, it did. Well, one thing you can influence yourself, there's a couple of things that are kind of mindset driven, but one thing you can influence yourself is your sense of ownership. And I believe in active positioning, which means you don't wait until things come to you, which means you take opportunities and you take on the additional workload or whatever that means. With having a vision or an idea where you want to go, I believe you can provoke luck.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of luck involved, but I believe you can provoke luck in terms of positioning.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with mentors.
It's called making your own luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I believe in that, and I do believe in people. I think one of the reasons that I'm here today is just because I had people believing in me as well.
What do you think is the balance between, having a balanced life, mental health, but also be extremely successful like yourself, right? Do you think you can get to the top without the grind and the long hours? Do you think it's possible to achieve that?
Well, again, I was extremely lucky. There was COVID. COVID was actually positive for my career development.
Yeah.
I had people backing me. I was lucky.
Yeah.
But I also think that because of this active positioning I was mentioning, there was a lot of work behind as well. So do you get to the top when you care about your work-life balance? I don't know.
Yeah.
My feeling is maybe not as fast, definitely, but
unless you're really lucky.
But no, I mean, listen, if you run a company and you're facing tough times and then you care about your 9 to 5, it's not going to work out.
No.
I mean, that's not how the world runs, right? It doesn't work.
All right, last question, a bit more of a fun one. You've been in Tokyo three years now.
Yeah.
So, do you have a recommendation of any good Swiss restaurants? Or if not, I couldn't recommend a British restaurant. Or if not, then any other good restaurant.
Yeah, where do you hang out?
Where do you hang out? Yeah.
I do not have a recommendation for a Swiss restaurant.
Yeah. Is there a Swiss restaurant?
There are a couple of Swiss restaurants.
Okay.
But usually when I have business travel in Switzerland, I bring back my own cheese and I do my fondue and raclette and whatnot, So I buy the real stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, you find Swiss cheese in the department stores. So sometimes where I'm really having this crave, I go into department stores.
Yeah.
But I like to go and have fun in the restaurants. So you will find me in some yakiniku places.
I love yakiniku.
Yakiniku Rin, I'm not sure if you know Yakiniku Rin, which is in Tsukishima.
Yeah.
It's like this Oba-san who runs the restaurant, and she will tell you exactly how you need to cook your meat, and if you don't, she's gonna slap you. so it's quite, it's rustic, and there's like a very intense smell of the meat, very fun, incredible meats.
Oh, yeah.
I like going and find out new things as well. So you're not gonna find me in the same restaurants all the time, except for my ramen, next to my office, which is called Tenki.
Okay, it's good?
Incredible, it's the best one.
Okay.
It's the best one, it's the best. So I'd love to have lunch with you guys just to show you this place.
Let's go.
It's incredible, it's the best ramen in my Western taste palette, but it's super fun.
Well, that's two pretty good recommendations
to
start with. All right. So I think that's it. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. An absolute pleasure. Great discussion.
Appreciated it. Thanks for the invitation.
Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Likewise.
Okay, so if you like the episode, please do not forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. We'd love to hear what you think, and we'll see you next time.